Alright, this lecture is going to cover the basics of dealing with color while you're in Illustrator. So I had saved my little silhouette icon of Conan here, Conan the Dachshund, and I've got Conan selected, and the easiest way to just change the color is once it's selected, I come down here and click on the fill button. And then this is called the color histogram, the Adobe color histogram, and I can pick colors with it. I really like working in the histogram picker because I can, pick a very subtle change in color and I can see it. I can drag up to green, down, gonna be down here in the oranges, try and get the dachshund a little more natural of a color. Some things you'll want to notice in here, if you know the code for the color here, this is called the color hex code. Sometimes when you're doing design, you may want a specific color or someone's asking for a color. So I could go to Google, this is really easy. We'll just do cyan hex code. And it will give me a light cyan, and you can just copy this and put that in down there, get rid of the number, and that will immediately just pull up the exact color of cyan. You can also define color in two other ways. You could define it by hue, saturation, and brightness. So hue is just going to change basically what color it is. Hue just means the color, where it's at on the color scale, or on the color wheel. So this is a hue chart here. Saturation is how intense the color is. So more or less gray. So if I'm on saturation here and I go down, you'll see everything gets grayer. And then brightness has to do with how light or dark. So hue, saturation, and brightness. I'll put brightness, let's put brightness kind of dark, and then you'll see the desaturated color, it just goes to gray. So saturation is how intense, how pure the color is, hue is which color it is, and brightness is how light or dark it is. If you're working in a red, green, blue color space, which again I'll talk about later, you can define here how much red do you want. So I want like 80% red, 20% green, 70% blue, and that will show you which color. Or you could define so you get like a purpley color. You could define that also by cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, which would be better for printing. And so you could put those values in there as well. I'm going to go back to hue. That's the easiest one to leave it on because then you can see all the colors, and we'll get our doggy more normal again. You can also go to Window and open Color, and then you'll get Color Guide. So here you'll get, like with the color that I've selected, it's choosing good palettes for me. So tints and shades of the same color, and then warms and cool versions. Here basically we have the RGB picker again, the hex code again. I can turn off the stroke, turn off the fill. Well, he's not selected. Also down here I can do the same thing with the fill. So I could pick the stroke. So now I have a stroke around the dog. We'll make it thicker so you can see it. So I've got a stroke. Make it brighter so it's easier to see. Oh, it wasn't selected. Okay, so there it's easier to see. But I could do that in here as well. And this is the histogram picker again, but it's just less nuanced. So I prefer to work over here. Like I said, in the color guide here, you'll get like the complementary colors that match it, the tints and shades, so the lighter and darker, and it will give you some colors like that. You can also have color themes, which was more specialized. You're going to have to wait for it to load in, and you could create like color wheels and stuff that you can pick from. So here, you know, I'm picking like analogous colors. This will help you come up. We haven't talked about this yet, but when I talk about color schemes in some of the lectures, you can preset yours here, or you can go through and look at other color schemes that people have come up with. So colors that go well together, and then you could save and create and define your own. So when you're making an image, it's like a preset palette, and you can make sure, same as in the color guide, you can make sure, so here you can play around with this. You can make sure that all the colors that you choose like go well together, basically is the idea in here. And you can preset palettes, like if you're working on a project and you only want certain colors, you'll be able to come in here and pick your colors. And then you could pick like all the color schemes. Do you want a complementary scheme? Do you want a split complementary? So all of the color schemes that I go over, analogous, you'll be able to create that all. You'll be able to get it really easy based on whatever color is selected. Now what I want to do is get these two colors onto the dog. If I click here, you'll see, if I try and click this fill and get it to go with that, the complement color there, it's not going to work. So what I need to do is come up to swatches, and I'll click on the stroke here, and I'll put new swatch, and I'll just hit OK with the one that's already selected. So that puts that color in there. Then I'll click on here, and it's got the complements, and I'll click that, and it will put that color up here, and I'll put new swatch. Okay. Then I'm going to keep this selected. I'm going to click on fill, and then just click that swatch. And actually what I want is I want that reversed. So I'm going to put the like magenta color on the stroke. And I'm going to put that really obnoxious color into the middle there. And now I got like neon glow Conan, the dog. So if you want to switch between the colors, you want to get them up into the swatches. Now say I wanted to get this color and make a slight variation on it. I'll just go ahead and go duplicate swatch, makes another one. And then I can open it up, and then I'll just make it like a little bit darker version of the same thing. Now I have that option in my swatches as well, and I could click on the dog and do that. That does not look darker at all. It's totally different. That's the combo I like though. Okay, so you'll be able to put colors up in here and then make them actually usable. Or you can go down here and just hand pick colors, however you want it. Alright, I've put another shape on here that's the same setup. I'm going to take the stroke off of this one just so they're not exactly the same. So we're going to go in here and put no stroke. But say we have the whole bunch of color in here, but we have two things that are the same color. I'm going to click this one, go to the swatch, click on this swatch, and I'm going to change the color there. And you'll see what that does is now everywhere that I've had that color in the composition, it will change all of it. So if I change from the swatch, it will change all of it. If I just go to the properties, and change for that one color or that one spot I've selected, so I go here, that will just change the one that I've got selected. But if I change it as the swatch, it will be a global change. So for speed's sake, you sometimes want to change all of the color. You just don't like it anywhere on there. Sometimes you want to be more specific and just change one thing. So that's how you'll do that. Also, let's say I do want to use this. So I'll change the color to a red, and then I immediately want to put that in my swatches. Down here, if I have the swatches panel open, I can just hit plus, and that will immediately pull up the color over there, and I can hit OK and add that to my swatches. So I can really easily add any new color I put into my selections over there. Sometimes I may have like an object here and I want it to mimic that one, not just in color, but in terms of the length of the stroke, the fill, and everything. So I'll select this color, come over and hit the eyedropper and just click on that, and it immediately transfers all of the properties over. So fill, stroke, stroke width, the colors of all of them. Another thing you'll probably want to play with at some point is a gradient. So I can select an object, click on the gradient tool, click on the object, and you'll see now that I've got this slider that allows me to control the gradient. I should be also able to grab this, and like if I don't want much white on there, I just want a little bit of the black, I can play with that, or I can just drag it this way. I can also drag this diamond in the middle, so I can get the gradient to be a little bit more harsh. So that will be on there. Now, how you change the color is you'll come in here. You can also do, okay, here's like a radial, so that would probably work better in there. And then I can control how tight the circle is here, if it's an ellipse or not, this burst effect. And I can also put, come on. Oh, I don't know what that was about. We can do a freeform gradient here, in which I'll be able to really drag the points around a little bit more. And play with it like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and put a regular gradient in here, and then we're going to change the color. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to select the green. Oh, and we need to go if you want it to be in color, you're going to have to go down here, click on, if you just do this, it's going to stay black and white, so you need to click on the color swatches, and that will convert it over to color. Then you should be able to click on either one of these buttons and put a color in like that. If you want to add a third color, you just double click at the bottom there, and then you'll be able to come in here. Now once you've got it set for color, there we go, we've got a third color. Once you've got it set for color, I'm going to add a fourth. Then you should be able to click on here and go right to the histogram picker and add as many colors as you want. And then again, you can play around with them here, or you can play around with them live on the object. So you can create the gradients that way. And then if you wanted to get rid of one of these, you would just go ahead and click on it. And while it's highlighted, you hit delete. Then I can expand, okay, I want more of that green color. That can also be done up here. And you can play with all of the factors there. And you should also be able to, yeah, on the end here, you should be able to rotate the gradient. So if you want it to go at an angle, you'll be able to do that. All right, so those are gradients. I'm sure a lot of you will want to play with those as well. Those are some of the basics for color.